Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. Today we will be looking at premium midfielders. There's plenty to choose from, but which ones should be in our team? Joining me to consider the options is Az. Az, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a while since I was on a video with you, Joe. Nice to be back.
It's like a Scoutcast light. So we're
Mini,
minus a guest and we're minus lots of topics because we're just going to focus on these premium midfielders at the moment. So we're going to get stuck into this. So before we do, I just want to put up a picture on the screen. So this is what an awesome midfield would look like. Get a load of this. Aubameyang, Salah, De Bruyne, Mane and Fernandes in the same team. Sounds absolutely ideal. But I can hear you already say the rest of your team must look rubbish. Well, you'd be right. Here is the full team. This is literally the best I could come up with. Completely 4.0 defence. I'll be lucky if any of them start. I've got Nyland back up to McCarthy, so at least I've got McCarthy. That beautiful midfield. Brewster, Davis and Wickham, all 4.5.
Power 3.
I couldn't find another way to get anything to make that any better than rubbish. So that just gives an indication.
And you're missing one of the top midfielders in Sterling.
Exactly. There's no Sterling because, of course, there's actually more than 5 premium midfielders we want. So it's even more tricky. So even with this, you could be missing out on the big hitter that week. So it just gives an indication of what we're looking at here with the midfielders. They're very, very important. We all want them all. We can't have them all. So there we go. So first of all, I just wanted to find out from you, what sort of how many are you looking to get in realistically? 2, 3, 1? And also if you have a particular strategy around the midfielders you're getting in, given that City and United miss game week 1. So yeah, what's your sort of, what midfielders, how many are you looking at?
I mean, it's amazing when you think of this season compared to last season, where we barely had any to really consider. The premium options were so light on the ground, whereas now we've got so many. I'm looking at 2. I think most drafts I'm seeing have got 2, and I think most drafts I'm seeing have got the same 2. We're helped a little bit by the fact that United and City both don't have the game in the first week. So unless you're benching, someone like De Bruyne or Fernandes, which is a lot of money to bench for especially in the first week, you're going to be looking at Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I'd love to say that I'm being really maverick and really exciting, but I think Salah and Aubameyang is the most sensible play. They've both got really good games. Salah's got Leeds at home, which just looks ideal. And then Aubameyang's got Fulham away. Like it couldn't really fall much better than it does for those two. What's interesting then is that City come in with a bit of a rough run of games. So the temptation, I think, for loads of people is going to be to do an early swap of Aubameyang to De Bruyne or Sterling because you've got the money to do it. But with City's games, I'm not sure it's going to be that easy. I mean, Arsenal got that Liverpool game, which doesn't look great, but he's a mid now, and part of me thinks you get him and you just keep him. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Okay. How helpful is that?
Well, I have a vague plan. It's similar to what you were saying. Yes, looking at the way the fixtures are in game week 1, the fact City and United aren't playing, Aubameyang and Salah are both playing promoted teams. They look absolute locks to get in. I will also say if you're not going for Salah, go for Mane. So Aubameyang, Salah, Mane. That looks the best play. Game week 2, Manchester United come back at the start of an enormously brilliant run, which starts at Palace.
I think they're one of the best fixtures.
I want me some of that. And so overall, I think the Fernandes is better than Salah over that run. And so I'll be
you'll be doing Salah to Fernandes.
I'm going to do Salah to Fernandes, possibly captain Fernandes, because I won't be captaining Salah the next game week. And I think that would be the move. Aubameyang, keep him for game week 2. Great game week 2 fixture against West Ham. Game week 3, he can then be moved on to either KDB or Sterling. That is the plan. That's the plan I have. But I like flexibility. If I don't do that, if I don't stick with that plan and I have to slum it with Aubameyang, multiple golden boot winner, and Salah, well, he's got a fair share of golden boots in his time. So there we go. I'm quite happy to keep them. So happy to keep, happy to sell. That's my attitude with them.
Yeah, United really throw a spanner in the work, because I think it's going to allow people to, if people have planned for it, and if people do have plans like you to bring in Fernandes or bring in even Rashford. I mean, he might not quite make the cut as a premium price mid, but 9.5, he's nearly there. Say Sancho signs as well, and then you've got another potentially 10.5 million. You've then got sort of some really good premium options from United. And if you don't really have a plan for them, so say you go with one heavy hitter, so say you just go with Salah, I think it does limit your ability to be flexible in that way. So I know you love talking about price points. I think if you can get in 2 heavy hitters, then you've got the potential to judge it and to switch around.
I think I always want, it's a tall order, but I think I always want 2 premium midfielders. There's so much choice. I cannot fathom a time where I think, I can only do with 1. I will always want at least 2. I'll probably want 3, but I've tried formations with that, and it does cost the rest of your team. But 2, definite. One thing really is, who do you captain? The first one, Aubameyang and Salah. Now I put up a tweet about that a bit earlier before we came to record this, and it's on about 50 comments so far. And you could see the divide. Salah, easily Salah. Everyone says Salah. FPL Wilson, Salah. Harry Duke, Salah all day. And then you get another complete split. Vikram, Aubameyang, because I'm scared of Leeds, he says. And then Sam points out, didn't Aubameyang crush Fulham last time? Indeed. So you can see the mixture. It's a real tough call, and I think I'm going to have both. And I really don't know which one I will captain, but I think at the moment it's going to be Aubameyang. But do you have an overall choice?
Yeah, I mean, it is really tough, because there's kind of pros and cons to both. I mean, Liverpool have got the home game against Leeds, so automatic advantage there. But Leeds are you would think, are going to be a better team, with a manager who, if there are holes in Liverpool, then he's going to spot them, and he's going to try and give them a good game. It's going to be interesting to see with Leeds, because I think their fans and a lot of people are expecting them to be ready for the Premier League. And it couldn't be. I mean, it is literally the toughest game they could start with. If they get an absolute mauling in that game, then it's going to kind of put them on the back foot right from the start.
Arguably, their best player, well, we would say that as Brighton fans, was Ben White last year.
Yeah,
he's not there anymore. So I don't know what the defence is going to be like. I can only assume it's going to be worse if their best defender's out. Playing for us at Brighton.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if I'm thinking about point scorers, I mean, it seems crazy to think outside of City and Liverpool, but I do think Aubameyang, reclassified as a midfielder, is going to be the highest point scoring player in the game this year.
I've done a little exercise in terms of like who I want to captain. I think I would prefer, I don't rule out captaining some forwards, and we'll come to them in another video and podcast, but in terms of midfielders, obviously they get more points for scoring. They get potential clean sheet points as well. All adds up if you captain them. So I've had a look at the first few fixtures, first 5 fixtures. Aubameyang against Fulham or Salah against Leeds. Either of them would be happy with. Aubameyang against West Ham. Fernandes against Palace. They're my top choices there. Next, KDB against Leicester, I think is a good option. But I think I prefer Fernandes against Brighton. I think they're good options there. And then KDB against Leeds. Mane against Villa, possibly, or Salah. So I could make a return to Liverpool because they're playing Villa. But I believe that's away, that game. Is that right in saying? Just looking through the list. Yeah, that's away. I don't really feel that comfortable with Salah away. Yes, he can get a good haul against a good side, but I think I sort of prefer Mane for that. And then I'm on to Fernandes against Newcastle. So you can see the theme there. KDB and Fernandes will probably be my mainstays in those positions for the time being, because I'm happy to captain them for this early period of the season. So
you would think that something like this suits someone like Late Riser's strategy
yes,
of being chopping and changing between these heavy hitting midfielders. And I think that is going to be a theme of this season. I think the potential for points, and not just sticking with the players who think are going to score the most points over the season, and being flexible and changing the round.
Yeah.
Might actually have the biggest picture, because I can't ever remember a season when we've had this many players, price. And there's another video coming on forwards, and
even more choice.
And I mean, building a team is really tough because you can't have them all, and it makes it, when you have got to make decisions like this, it does make it a more exciting game, but it also makes it for a more stressful game, I think.
There's two school of thoughts I've been picking up on social media and Fantasy Football Scout on the forum. There is that either you settle with a couple of premium mids that you really like for a long haul, and then you use your transfers to chop and change the mid price and the cheaper assets around it, or you stick with whatever cheap ones you get in, hope for the best, and then you use those transfers to do exactly what you're just describing, chop and change those key premium captain choices around the fixtures. While we've been talking, I put up some stats on the screen, looking at the stats of those players that we've been mentioning: Sterling, Salah, Rashford as well in the mix, 9.5, Mane, Aubameyang, Son as well. We haven't mentioned, we can go down to 9 million for him. I would consider that premium price, lower end of it. Fernandes 10.5 and De Bruyne 11.5 there. And that, these stats, they tell you a few things, but it's difficult because this is over a season. Obviously, some people would want to look, say, in the members area at Fantasy Football Scout and look at from lockdown onwards, and you can do that and you can divide it up, and that may give a better indication, because we're going to be in a similar situation with matches being played amidst this pandemic, no fans or very limited fans. But from this, you can see the big chances total. Sterling is the best, so it could be overlooked. Everyone going for KDB. KDB with 20 assists, so you know what you're getting there, and he's got a shot in him. But Raheem Sterling with those 33 big chances in total, and 20 goals as well. So he could be overlooked. I even overlooked him in my little 5 midfield there, and could be costly.
I think that you've got decisions to make in who you go for, these premium midfielders, but I think you do have to make a decision who you pick out of De Bruyne and Sterling.
Yeah,
because you've got so many other options. I think you go with one. I think getting 2 City midfielders is a bit much. As stupid as that.
I think sometimes there's De Bruyne games, sometimes there's Sterling games. And those opening fixtures look like De Bruyne games. They're not. It's, as you said, it's not a really easy run. So I'm looking for the guy who can get goals, who can get assists, who can get the bonus as well there. And if I'm looking for a captain, it's De Bruyne at the moment, I think. But yeah,
my kind of potentially awful strategy for anyone that wants to know it is I really like the look of Aubameyang and Salah in general. If I'm talking about kind of a prolonged period, I don't think you can go wrong with those two. I think what City and United have got is potentially 2 mid-priced good options in Foden and Greenwood.
Yeah.
So I know we talk about coverage and it's a kind of a taboo word and we don't like it, but they both have the potential to far exceed their price tag. So if I'm looking at a midfield of Salah, Aubameyang, Greenwood and Foden, I do feel like I've got quite a lot of the bases covered going forward for a prolonged period. That doesn't mean that I'm ignoring the option of getting in KDB alongside or Fernandes or anything like that. But if you're looking at price points and who we think are going to be good value picks, if you look at those kind of separately, I think they are strong options. So they shouldn't just be discounted because there's other premium picks.
So we've covered Salah, Mane, we've covered Aubameyang, Fernandes and Rashford really, De Bruyne, Sterling. What about Messi?
I was going to say, we're going to talk about Messi. Oh my god.
Okay, Messi plays for Barcelona, but rumoured to be wanting to move. Who's going to afford him? Where would he go? It could be City. Pure speculation. Say Messi comes in at 13, 14 million. You want him in, the best player in the world. It's like getting, do you want Pele or something? Do you want Eusebio? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. So I'm willing to pay whatever it takes. You would get him in, but that would be at a cost. Would you go for one premium midfielder, or would you try and like borrow a bit more and go really cheap on your mid-priced assets elsewhere?
I think you'd probably wait until game week 4 with you. You've got Leeds at home and then quite typical games before that.
He's got some tricky games, hasn't he, Messi?
I know, it's ridiculous. Well, I mean, at least the blank is a tricky game. You're definitely not going to score any points in that if he signs.
If Messi is playing game week 2, I want him in my side. I don't care about that. I've got a feeling he's fixture proof. I've just this feeling.
You're a good pundit, Joe. Wow.
It's quite good, isn't it?
No, I know. I mean, he needs to be. I mean, someone posted something which was his La Liga stats in FPL equivalent. I think he was something like 350 points or something from last season if he got the same returns that he got. Yeah. And I was reading an interesting article about I think it was on BBC Sport about people think that the Spanish league is a particularly sort of rubbish league and it's farmers and all that kind of stuff, when actually it's a very competitive league and there's less hat-trick score, there's less goals scored and all this kind of stuff. And you look at the state of the English Premier League at the moment, and like last year, I mean, some of the teams, Villa and West Brom, Fulham, Crystal Palace, there's so many teams where the competition, even teams like Tottenham and Everton and Leicester, these are the teams that you think could be challenging for top 4. I can't see them getting anywhere near, to be honest, this season. So I think the competition in the Premier League at the moment is low. Yeah. And it's a very long-winded way of saying I agree with of course he's just going to batter everyone. Yeah. He needs to be in the team. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. You could take out Salah for Messi. You could take out Aubameyang for Messi. You could take out anyone for Messi. Messi's just there, and then you have another one alongside it.
I mean, it sounds a bit weird, a bit speculation, but this could happen, and we have to be prepared for that. When people watching this video, who knows? The deal may have already gone through, and we would look like silly billies if we didn't even mention him. So we just mentioned that. I'll keep saying in a lot of these videos, keep an eye on the news, keep an eye on these transfer rumours, because it pays to be prepared. I think we mentioned pretty much all of them. I haven't really talked about Son though. I get the feeling with Son, it's Harry Kane or bust really with Spurs at the moment under Mourinho, because Son did pretty well in a recent friendly, but that was because Harry Kane's under quarantine, so he wasn't playing, and Son took that role. So whoever's up front and playing as the main striker for Spurs, but 9 million for a potential winger, and in a team where they go 1-0 up and then just sit back, I'm not compared to the others.
10.5 for a defensive midfielder.
Could be, but that's in forwards. We're just talking about midfield. So that's my get out anyway.
I'm not totally sold that it's Kane or no one. I think Son is. I mean, Son is obviously a credible option. He's delivered points. He's always capable. I mean, the issue is, like you say, when I owned him towards the end of last season, you watch his average position, and sometimes he plays and Kane's there, and Kane drops back, and Son sort of charges past him. And you think, actually, Son's the striker of this team, and Kane's the number 10, which he is anyway. But it did seem that Son was sort of hugging the touchline a bit too much, not getting into the same central attacking positions and things like that. But he did finish the season quite strongly when I sold him. In fact, as soon as I sold him, he got back-to-back braces or something like that. So he's still capable of scoring. They've got a really nice run. I'm not. I think 9. I mean, he's actually gone. I think it was 9.5 last season, and he's 9 this season. I think so. He had an all right season last year. He's still got Danny Price.
It's fine. Yeah. It's just compared to all of these others, and now we've got more choice in midfield with these premium slots.
Yeah.
And when it comes to say Aubameyang against 2, minnows or Son, who's possibly going to be shackled to the wing, it's an easy choice to make, and I'm quite happy to pay more for that.
I think Son sits quite nicely because you can make a decent team with 2 of the premiums that you mentioned and Son alongside, and not have to have a load of 4.0 fodder. He's not. If he was 10 million, it would be hard to make a case for him. But the fact he's 9 means and you've got places to go. You've got Ziyech, like Paul Merson. You've got Ziyech there. You've got a little bit more, and you can go up to Rashford. You've got Bruno Fernandes, not a million miles away. You can go down to Greenwood, down to Foden. You've got lots of flexibility with someone like Son as well. So I wouldn't rule him out.
No, and I think I would. He's a good holding player. I think if you've got some money in the bank, you can move up to say a Rashford. You can also move down to a Ziyech or whoever else may emerge who's a bit cheaper as well. So yeah, good options. Before we go, just a reminder about the Fantasy Football Scout members area. It's got loads of stuff there. Opta powered stats tables, comparison tool, weekly player projections, and more. Do check it out. Worth noting that there is a pre-season offer of £17.50 until 31st of August. From 1st of September, it will be $19.99. A bit more, but still a bargain. So if you've enjoyed this episode as well, please press like and do subscribe so you can keep updated with all the news of our latest videos and podcasts. But for now, good luck with your premium midfield choices.
You too.